balloons, chair, and a dream. I'm Rebecca Lieb.
I'm Jason Horton.
And this is Ghost Town.
Friday episode. What do you think of that?
Oh, Friday.
F is for Friday.
Gotta get down on F is for, because what does the F stand for?
Failure.
Failure.
It's a failure Friday.
This is our first Failure Friday.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
We've talked about this because so much of what we do on the main podcast, the meat of it.
Yeah, the main episode.
Is about failure. It's about things not going the way we think that they will go. So why not have another whole podcast before the freaking weekend?
Yeah, before you get your freak on.
Yeah.
Or off.
Or off.
Cover all bases.
We don't know you.
And it's just a little bonus to maybe be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to start the weekend off saying better than whatever happened in this situation.
Exactly. Get your fix so your weekend can go smoothly.
And it's not always the fault of the parties involved. Sometimes it's just misfortune.
Yeah.
But everyone loves failure. I think we kind of somehow make a living talk about our own.
My career is based on failure.
Yeah.
So I'm very familiar with it, and I'm very excited about this because there's so many things that we cover that's failure based, but also there's things that we're like, oh man, that's not quite what we do on Ghost Town, but what a delicious morsel of failure. And that's where this part comes in.
And as long as we have the means, we'll keep doing these little bonus episodes.
And let us know what you think of them.
Yeah. And then,
Please.
we have, of course, bonus episodes on our Patreon, patreon.com/ghostttownpod, which helps us with some of the editing costs. We have to outsource some editing and other things. And, we don't, it's like, listen, we're not making, we're losing money at a slower rate. We're losing money at a slower rate.
Yeah.
But it's just, if you want to help support, even $1 and $2 a month, get you 2 bonus episodes a month and some other things.
It's amazing.
And if you're like, oh, this is a fun fail, or, maybe it's something you've experienced, went to this thing
hit us up with your stories of failure.
Yeah.
Because to start this little episode with someone's horrific failure story would be just a gift.
Yes.
I would say.
Yes. We are not worthy of it. But Instagram is Ghost Town Pod. Gmail is ghosttownpod@gmail.com if you want to message us. I want to take it to the great state of California.
Yeah.
Which is a plus. There is a location, and the location is Up.
Up.
Have you seen the movie Up, which I have not seen?
You haven't seen it?
No. Well, this is probably the movie Up is somewhat has to be based on this story because I'm going to get into the story of Lawn Chair Larry.
Lawn Chair Larry.
And a lot of the reason I want to tell this story is I feel like this ends bad, by the way.
Yeah, well, everyone knows that. They're listening to the Friday Failure podcast.
Yes, this ends bad twice.
I love it.
Warning.
Wait. Before, so what we remember most from Up, right?
Yeah.
Is like Pixar movie, check. There's some kind of like a strange, sad story. Great. Most important thing, old guy, balloons in a chair, check. So all of this really comes from this Lawn Chair Larry.
I mean, it has to be. I mean, I'm sure he's probably not the first person.
Facts.
But I think he got an unfair due. I feel like he was up for there was a thing called the Darwin Awards that are just kind of like, I think they're just like silly, like, hey, you know what, like Darwin would have weeded you out in the
exactly.
whatever.
Darwin Awards is like when your most horrible coworker is like, Darwin Awards, here, this one, and it's like, it's crazy.
I don't think that's
person.
fair for this guy because well, here's the thing, it's like, and he's probably not the first person to do it. When we talk about what he did, it was scientifically like successful and pretty sound, and it's not like he was like, I'm a huge big time like scientist and aviation person and I made this happen. It's just essentially a regular guy that did this thing that kind of captured people's attention for a time.
Just a dude.
And we'll find out that it sometimes leaves you worse off than you were, though. So I'll get into it because I love talking about the great state of California, and I like talking about the space above it.
Yeah.
We haven't really talked about...
California isn't just land, people. It's also air, palm trees, pools.
Oxygen.
Yeah.
Celebrities flying first class.
Exactly. Drones. Drone space.
Yeah, drones. In fact, we haven't heard a helicopter yet, so it's like kind of a...
I know, it's kind of throwing me off,
Yeah,
actually,
I don't really like it.
Being honest.
So basically what he did was he took a lawn chair, attached 45 large balloons
also,
full of helium.
Only 45 balloons.
Yeah, the numbers switch. 42, 45, 35. The number switched,
Okay,
but it was
2.
around those balloons. And he attached it to a lawn chair, a regular like Sears lawn chair, and went bye-bye.
Yeah, he just went up, as in the movie, up in the air,
Yes.
into the space above California,
Yeah.
ground and desert.
Yes, and it went. It went. I mean, from a scientific point of view, successful. As far as like making people not happy about it, not so great. You know what I mean? Not so great.
People weren't like thrilled. They didn't like send confetti into the air.
You know what he called his? It was essentially his flying machine.
What?
Inspiration 1 or Inspiration I. I don't know how that. I don't know how spacecraft go.
Roman numeral or just a
Yeah,
1.
yeah. So, but it's Inspiration 1. So I thought that was
which means there could be an Inspiration 2
never
or
know.
16 or 87.
He went up more than 15,000 feet. He essentially went from San Pedro or San Pedro?
Pedro.
Pedro.
Yeah.
San Pedro.
This is also a very interesting point. Pronunciation of that.
San Pedro, pretty much right in an area right near LAX, the Los Angeles airport.
Just straight. And so just to give you perspective, it's about an hour, 45 minutes from San Pedro to LAX.
Yeah.
So this dude was traveling airborne, floating in Inspiration 1 for an hour, drifted into the airspace of LAX.
Yes. And he arranged nylon cables, 6 tiers, and then on July 2nd, he took off.
Do we know why he did this?
Well, we're gonna get we know a little bit about.
Okay.
He had a parachute. I'm just kind of giving you the little things.
Yeah,
he
you
strapped
leave it.
himself in, and he has CB radio, altimeter, camera, sandwich, 2 liter of Coke. You love those lists.
I love a list, and I also love it says so much about a person to be like, my sandwich, tuna salad.
Yep.
Soda, he's like, I need a drink.
Yeah.
Well, what's it going to be? Of all the drinks in the world,
Coke.
2 liter of Coke.
Yes.
Is this my roommate from college?
So he was there with his friends and Carol, which I think is his girlfriend or wife, and it says release the wire that kind of was holding him down.
Wow.
It actually broke. The wire actually broke prematurely.
Yeah, so much.
This says 42 balloons, 33 cubic feet of helium each. I don't understand how space is taking the buoyancy or whatever, how that is.
Who knows?
I think he was just kind of like hoping to float in front of like rooftops, but he went up like a slingshot style.
Whoa.
So that's what I'm saying. Like,
Science failed him in that way.
a lot of science and planning went into this relatively successful, having an altimeter. So, he probably, knew a little something. He lost his glasses, and he radioed to Carol. And then he was just like, his hands started going numb because it was very cold up there.
Yeah, and that's another thing he didn't plan for,
He thought he was going to head to the old Mojave, baby. The old Mojave.
Yeah?
But no, he went towards Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, he didn't know what...
He called in Mayday on his radio to a team in Corona, California. And then he was also picked up by a guy named Doug Dixon, who's a member of the Orange County Citizens Band Radio Club, like ham radios. He's like, he broke into our channel with the Mayday. Imagine just hanging out and be like, hey, Breaker 19. And then he's like, Mayday, Mayday. He said he shot up like an elevator to 1,600 feet.
Jesus. You'd pass out too, because that oxygen level change, that would fuck with you, I think.
Yeah, and then when he was talking to the actual airspace, he says, the difficulty is... an unauthorized balloon launch, and I know I'm in federal airspace, and I'm sure my ground crew, Carol, has alerted the proper authority, but call them and tell them I'm okay. What color is the balloon? The balloons are beige in color. I'm in a bright blue sky, which would be highly visible. Over. They were like size, approximately 7 feet in diameter, and probably have 35 pounds of pressure left, whatever. So there's, he reported 35 balloons instead of 42. I mean, listen, his head, he might have been loopy. Yeah. He started getting towards LAX, and then he was like, I don't want to go into the Pacific Ocean. He, by the way, had a BB gun, which is smart, but it scared people that could see they had a BB gun. And he started popping some of the balloons in order to, relieve some of the pressure. He popped 1, he popped 2, nothing happened. He started to panic. He shot out 7 more balloons and actually fumbled it and dropped his BB gun somewhere over Orange County.
He thought of 4% of what needed to happen for this.
He did shoot out enough balloons before dropping the gun.
Yeah.
Okay. Who knows where.
Good.
He can't say I cannot say I was afraid or anything. Larry recalled of his rapid descent into a Long Beach neighborhood. The part that was scary, the last 300 feet with the rooftops. I didn't want to get fried or sizzled. They did a frantic 911 call. The police had power company kill the electricity in the area, so it caused a lot of you know what I mean?
For this guy's kooky idea.
As if by miracle, his landing was arrested by his craft entangling in dead high voltage lines, so he would have been toast. Ending his 21-mile flight, a mere 5 feet off the ground. So yeah. He was just swarmed by people. They were like, this is amazing. Neighbors, children, they helped him out. And he said, by the grace of God, I fulfilled my dream, he told the gathered crowd, but I wouldn't do it again for anything. And then when he got arrested, he obviously got arrested, put in a squad car, he said, a man can't just sit around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, men don't. They inflate a bunch of balloons, 35 to 42.
He had a couple of regrets.
Did he eat a sandwich?
No mention of the sandwich or the Coke, how much of that was done. Maybe he had to dump some of it in order to...
Dump the Coke!
No, you actually would need the Coke. In fact, full. He's like, I can't... But if he eats the sandwich, I don't know if it's heavy or digested or not. But he gave away the chair, which was like a bummer. Yeah. He didn't even take a photograph, and I think maybe the Smithsonian wanted it, and he's like, I gave it to some kids. He said he had the dream for 20 years. I think he just always had a dream of kind of flying
with balloons in a lawn
chair.
It's such a specific...
He thought maybe he could be like a Sears Roebuck like lawn chair guy, but he gave away the chair.
Yeah. Bad marketing, dude.
The FAA wasn't. They weren't happy.
No, they were
so
not.
they were going to fine him $4,000. They later lowered it to $1,500, and he actually went on to he got some notoriety. The Bonehead Club of Dallas gave him some award. He was on the Johnny Carson. He was on Letterman. And then he was just like, I'm good with like this stuff. He's like, I don't think by fulfilling my goal in life, my dream, that would create such a stir and make people laugh. He later told the LA Times.
Oh, come on.
He quit his job in 1983. He was a truck driver. He did a lecture circuit about motivation, which, listen, you know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, I believe that.
Yeah. But fame and fortune didn't help. No,
not that I even think he deserved that.
He lived in the same kind of low rent North Hollywood apartment since 1971. No bills. He just had everything kind of paid off. But when the attention, it fades. It shows that that is your 15 minutes.
Yeah.
He never married Carol, by the way. They remained friends.
They weren't even.
Yeah, they did some volunteer work for the U.S. Forest Service.
They broke up.
I love it's over, but yeah, I don't know what their deal is. They're broke up. That's not the fail. That might be the good part. I don't know. We don't know Carol. What do you think? Carol's great. Well, who's Carol to you?
What about Carol?
He says, I love the peace and quiet. Nature and I get along very well. He appeared in 1981 in a campaign for Timex for a watch that takes a lick and keep on ticking. He got $1,000 from that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and he just he's a cheerful guy. He was obviously a positive guy, but he had his own personal. I mean, maybe somebody
Demons.
that takes
a guy
it
that
shook
would,
up his life. Yeah,
a guy that would do that and go through with it without thinking about all of the basic scientific parts of it. Yeah. You're like, something is off.
Something's a little bit off. You get credit for because not everyone can do this, but you shouldn't be doing it, and there's better precautions to take. Yeah. He went hiking to a remote spot in the Angeles National Forest and shot himself in the heart.
Whoa.
Yeah, and there was no real motives for the suicide, just his own.
It's done.
That's
it's
just
I
maybe
had a dream. I had another dream.
Yeah, he was for whatever reason, maybe that thing where it was I achieved this thing so big, I'll never ever get that again. And where am I now after that? Am I better or worse off? I don't know. I'm speculating, and so I thought it was pretty tragic. And I think he got kind of a little bit of a bum rap. And
it's also very romantic.
It is. Yeah, it is a very kind of a follow your dreams thing, where it's who says you can't?
It's also there's a lot of poetry to constructing that for all of its flaws and doing something, and then even the suicide is kind of poetic. The Angeles forest is really close to here. It's 15 minutes away. Yeah. Really beautiful, very quiet, and it's just that's it,
Yeah. Oh wait, no, there's a thing about Carol. She says she got fired from a Krispy Kreme.